I'm gonna slap one on here.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is one of the funniest and most beloved of the Coen Brothers movies. There's a scene where George Clooney's character, Ulysses Everett McGill, while running from the law with two other escaped convicts, is sleeping in a barn with a hairnet on and wakes up and blurts out,
"How's my hair?"
It's absurd, it's hysterical, it's also somehow relatable. Hello, my name is Kevin Harris, and I help people understand themselves by helping them understand the stories that resonate with them. And today we are talking about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? A film that on the surface might seem like just a goofy road comedy with banjos and Bible salesmen.
The truth, every blessed word of it.
But dig a little deeper, and what you'll find is a story that merges myth, music, and meaning in a way that only the Coen Brothers can pull off. So why is Oh Brother considered their funniest film and one of their sweetest? Well, it's because it dares to be both deeply silly and deeply sincere. Let's start with what's probably the boldest move in the film, retelling the Odyssey in the American South during the Great Depression. That's like serving caviar on a piece of cardboard.
Go for Everett.
It shouldn't work, but it absolutely does. And part of why it works is the blend of high art and low comedy. You don't need to know your Homer to laugh at Peace chasing after the sirens.
I've seen him first.
But if you do, it's all the funnier. The film trusts us to hold contradictions, the profound and the preposterous, the sacred and the slapstick. And nowhere is that balance more perfectly embodied than in the characters themselves. Everett, played with perfectly preening self-importance by George Clooney, is a man who sounds like a philosophy professor.
The blind are reputed to possess sensitivities compensating for their lack of sight, even to the point of developing paranormal psychic powers.
And acts like he's never passed a mirror he didn't fall in love with. His vocabulary is as inflated as his ego, and yet somehow we don't just laugh at him, we root for him. Then there's Delmar and Pete.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
His bumbling companions, who are somehow even less intelligent than they appear.
Well, I'll only be 82.
But they aren't just comic relief, they're heartsick, hopeful, and weirdly wise. Together, the trio forms a kind of spiritual siblinghood to the Three Stooges, who, by the way, actually make a meta appearance on a movie screen within the movie, back before they were even called the Three Stooges. The Coens are nothing if not self-aware.
You boys are true friends.
Every character they meet along the way, from the blind prophet on the railroad to the dishonest Bible salesman,
Seeing the funny paper.
is cartoonishly exaggerated and yet weirdly human. They don't feel like characters in a plot so much as echoes of American folklore. There's an aliveness to them that goes beyond narrative function. They feel like someone's strange uncle or a dream you once had after falling asleep to a scratchy old record. And speaking of records, let's talk about the music. The soundtrack of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is arguably the fourth lead character. It's a musical without being a musical. And it's funny how seriously it's taken in the story. The Soggy Bottom Boys' accidental rise to fame
Hot damn! This is Soggy Bottom Boy!
is both ludicrous and somehow cathartic. It's as if the film is telling us that somehow grace sneaks in through the side door while you're looking the other way.
These boys is hereby pardoned.
These men aren't supposed to be stars. They're escaped convicts in dirty clothes. But for one moment, the world hears them. And in that moment, so do we. Which brings me to what might be the film's most quietly revolutionary feature, its kindness. This isn't a world without cruelty. The devil, literally and metaphorically, is always nearby.
Well, I had to be at that there crossroads last midnight. Sell my soul to the devil.
But the film doesn't indulge in cynicism. It's full of poor people, prisoners, liars, thieves, and charlatans.
You got some light fingers, Everett. Gopher.
And yet it's one of the most compassionate films the Coens have ever made.
Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
Even Everett, the supposed cynic, has a redemption arc. He starts out running toward a treasure that doesn't exist, but ends up kneeling in prayer when the stakes are truly life and death. That's not just character development, it's spiritual growth. And let's not ignore the political layer. Set in a moment where modernity is arriving, through electrification, radio, and mass communication,
We ain't one at a time in here. We're mass communicating.
we see how power works, how faith can be manipulated, and how spectacle can become salvation. But again, the film isn't angry about this. It's playful, it's satirical, but it's also hopeful. The blind disc jockey can't see the band he records, but he recognizes their value. The corrupt governor uses their popularity to win re-election, but he also pardons them. Even the devil, the lawman with empty eyes, gets momentarily stopped by a prayer.
God forgive me!
Oh. There's a lot of grace in this movie.
God forgive me. I could not gaze upon that far shore.
And I think that's what makes it so rewatchable. Because every time you watch it, you notice something new, a mythic allusion, a musical motif, a biblical reference. A joke you missed the first time because you were too busy laughing at something else. It's not just the jokes that make it funny, it's the sincerity behind the absurdity, the warmth beneath the weirdness. And maybe that's why this is the Coens' most beloved film. Not just because it's clever, not just because it's quotable, but because it's redemptive. Because it reminds us that even fools can be forgiven, that even convicts can become poets, and that sometimes the road to salvation is paved with pratfalls, pomade, and bluegrass.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life.
And if that's not a hopeful message, I don't know what is. If you enjoyed this message and you'd like to hear more about the deeper meanings behind your favorite films, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell. I dive into movies not just to be entertained, but to understand myself better. And maybe like Everett and the boys, we'll all find our way back home. Thanks for watching.